Yo, what's up guys? It's Jelly here. We're going to do another Rick analysis. And today we're going to be going over the recent match played between Berserker and Themista. I've done this quite a few times. I've tried to do this twice now and I've never liked what I've come up with. Um, so we'll give it a go again and we'll see how it goes. So, this was quite an interesting match. I mean, it's ISIS for Berserker versus the Mr. Zeus on Oasis. Now, this is quite an interesting match because it really highlights how in these matches, when the onus is on you, like you choose a strat that is aggressive, it really shows how clinical you have to be with it. Like you need to make sure you lay down all the information you need for this aggressive play and follow through with it. And Berserker doesn't end up doing that quite well, which makes his life quite tough. Um, yeah, so we'll just kind of go through what happens in the archaic first. So we're gonna notice that this is a 5 zebra oasis, which is the most zebra you can start with. So this is the highest possible hunt to start with, and he's got a safe gold mine. So immediately when you see this, you can, like in a forest here, you can just know you can fast heroic with this much food because you'll normally find the goats to always get heroic. So doing a fast heroic versus Greek on this map is really good for a couple of reasons, because the Greek economy is much slower on a map like Oasis, and ISIS, I mean, he'll get heroic like a tiny bit slower in a scenario like this, and because his strong push in the game is based on wood, it's really good for him, or her I should say. And this is like the first key piece of information that tells you so much about this game. So Berserker's got both patches of giraffe, and on Oasis there's only two sets of giraffe, so that means the Mister has none, and that really indicates how much slower this Greek economy will be to basically get units out and do any pressure. So from this, Berserker can almost say like there will be hardly any aggression from the Greek player. Like the only aggression he could possibly do is if the Mister went for a super fast up with everyone to food and got like a couple of centaurs out with his heroes early. And it's not really a massive deal if the ISIS has this much hunt, because you can do a nice uptime with priests in your pharaoh and beat that off quite easily. And especially with a map this safe, I mean, centaurs aren't going to be a problem. You know, you got like two fucking walls, and you've got that all safe. So this is pretty key. Okay, this is what I think is Berserker's first big mistake. He's sending his his priest to scout defensively, and we'll just flick over to Berserker's line of sight. So he has 1 gold, 2 gold, hunt. He has
Greek.
that many herdables. Like at this point in the game, you need to be saying, I want to do an aggressive heroic. What do I need to do this? And you need to first find your resources that enable you to do the heroic, because if you don't have them to do the fast heroic, well then you literally just can't do it. And then second of all, you need to scout information that makes your heroic push successful, which is your opponent's information. So, like, what the Mister does, and this is why I think Mister is a step ahead and of every other player at the moment, excluding Magic, is the Mister understands the importance of vision, and I think this comes from his heavy StarCraft background, um, where where vision is constantly updated in the game. A lot of players in the game at the moment just scout the map, find their vision, and then don't do anything else, and then they walk to their third town center, and boom, the other guy's taken his third town center, and you've pretty much lost the game there. He updates his vision really well, and he denies vision of the opponent so well. And so Berserker starts off by almost denying himself vision here. So what I would really like to see is after this obelisk is forward scouting. because you need to know where you want to do your push. So I mean, the things that Berserker needs to be thinking about are like there's like a list of things. This game can be broken down. So like first off, I'm doing strat X, and like you don't want to change from that strat. When you commit to a strat, you kind of want to commit to it. So then you need to like go, okay, his options are A, B, and C. If he does A, I do this. Like, it's a flowchart, right? And you just got to kind of remember it all. And so, like, almost in the scenario, it's like, okay, if the Themista like goes Centaurs, then I will and still commit to my heroic. If the Themista goes Athena, then I build my Migdol in my base and I just push him out. If the Themista grabs town centers, I pick a location on the map to push with my aggressive heroic. So it's almost like a formula, but the formula only applies if you have the information to do that, and Berserker hasn't given himself the information. So that's like the first key point. And so what I would like to see is him working out where he needs to push, because especially in these scenarios, like if he stays on one town center, then your push is kind of going to just be like choking him in and then like taking him out. If he takes other town centers, they're really, really nice locations to push off because they're easier to take out. They take away population and all of the resources he's invested into it. Whereas if you just push the home base blindly, he's got villages, towers, all his unit production there, and it's a lot harder. So you do want to kind of avoid pushing the main base when there's obvious things to push, like gold mine, berries, berries, gold mine, town center. So they're kind of what you want to prioritize. And we're just kind of going to flick ahead because not too much happens for the rest of the archaic. One quick point I do want to throw down. I mean, like, Berserkers, like, thinking that the Themista might go Centaurs, but it's too late. Like, he's doing all of this walling now, and if Berserker was going Centaurs, I mean, the Themista was going Centaurs, the Themista would actually already be advanced. And so what I would like to see, like, we can just talk about, because base layout is something that Army Corps and the Themista do, like, beautifully. They're the best people in the game, and it literally wins them games. Like, this temple should be here, and then you just need a wall chink, and then like 2 houses, and like this wall is good. I don't know about this wall actually. This wall's good. These 2 walls are good because they secure your hunt, and literally just like having your temple here and your houses here blocks off one side. Where he's kind of just wasted. Like, what's this wall? Like that wall's pointless. Those houses shouldn't be there. They should be here. And just some small base layout stuff. If you do that properly, it saves villager time and slows his army if he is aggressive. So that's something that Berserker definitely could have worked on here as well. So we're going to see him up. The mist is up just before him, going Athena. And, I mean, there hasn't been much indication of aggression, so, and I think Berserker recognizes that now. So you kind of got to assume that the Zeus player is going to be booming here, but he can go find that out. I mean, he should know that from scouting an archaic, but he can go find that out with the Sphinx. And unfortunately, I think Berserker just kind of forgets about this and doesn't get the scouting done. So he's got his armory up. Okay, we see the first settlement go up from Mister. So he knows Mister's booming now. And I think after this, I'm not sure why his heroic was so slow. Okay, it's up now. Like, his heroic time isn't bad. Like, it could have definitely, like, with this map, like, from an expert player, I would expect a slightly cleaner heroic time, but it's fine. And small stuff like that needs to be fixed, but that's okay. And this is kind of like a big problem. Like, he doesn't need 9 on food. He, like, when you're doing this with ISIS, what I like to do, and I see other good ISIS players do this, is you do your prosperity, and you only leave like 5 on food. Like, I would have left them on food, and I would have had them on wood. You kind of want like 8 or 9 on wood, because you want to just boost out chariots and a couple of siege towers really quickly. and then you can add to herdables from your town center. So Berserker's taking a town center, and you kind of got to ask yourself why. He needs to ask himself, why am I taking this town center? Because right now the Themista is on 3 town centers, and I don't, like, Berserker should know this, but like 3 town centers, 8 minutes in the game, this guy has 1 horse, a free myth unit, and a hero at 8 minutes in the game. Like, he is nothing. That's what 3 town centers does to you. Don't be scared by this. This isn't anything. That army here is nothing. So taking this town center is just slowing his push down and enabling the Mister's good economy to kick in. Right? There's like it's like a simple formula, right? So like the economy I give up must be greater than the economy I take from him. That's kind of like what you're going for, right? You're like, if you were to go like pure economy, you'd go into classical, you'd take 3 town centers, and you'd make sure you had perfect villager production from every town center. Like that's almost what running a perfect macro is, and that's what the Mister's done. So if you're like giving up your option to take these town centers, which Berserker has done by going heroic, you need to like establish, how can I take economy off him the best now? Because I've taken economy away from myself to invest it in military, so I now need to take economy away from him. And this town center is just slowing that, like, completely. So this town center was kind of a mistake, and we look at his economy as in he doesn't have many on wood. He only just has enough on food to produce villages from both town centers. So not only does it like just slow him, it slows his economy to put military out.
Great.
And so we see the Migdol going up now. He's going to get the siege camp. He's going to pump some chariots out. And this I don't really like. Like, this is kind of a negative attitude. You could almost argue he has enough vision and time to react to anything here because of this tower vision. Like, I don't like him moving the army over there, because once again, if we check, like, the Mister has nothing. And you can, what the best players in this game do, and this is what like I was always so impressed by Magia was he uses his army aggressively to secure defensive objects. So there's 2 ways to take this town center. You sit your army on top of it and you say, hey, come fight my army, you won't beat it, I'll take this town center. The other option is to, like, if you look at like Berserker's army right now, like, that would beat that. And you can kite and micro, and especially if you didn't take that town center, he would have a lot more army, and he would beat that. And by being aggressive, especially on like these areas, why would the Mister ever try to stop that? He wouldn't even know about it. So that's kind of something else I'd like to see. And we can kind of see the big problem for Berserker here right now. Like, he doesn't really know where he wants to be pushing. He's kind of just walking straight down the middle, being like, I think this is the right, and we see like there's nothing here. He's just walking into something blindly, where this is probably the best place he wants to push from. Like, if he had been truly aggressive with a priest rush, he could have got his first Migdol up here, and just plowed through this, and that would have been so aggressive. But what the Mist is doing so well right now is because he knows there hasn't been any obelisks around here for him to kill. He knows that Berserker is so denied of vision, and he's kind of just going to run around with like a couple of Hippocon, and Berserker doesn't really have anywhere to push, and he's managed to wall him off and slow him because of no vision to stop any of that. And I mean, he's mixing in camels, which I don't really like. Like, if he hadn't taken that town center, we could have seen like two elephants out, and then chariots and siege towers, and then a pretty straightforward push. And basically at this point in the game, like, we're going to see the next big mistake from Berserker, and after that we're going to switch over to the Mister and look at how he kind of wins the game.
And
So we see what this vision does. Like if he had got lucky and found something, it would have been all good. But he's not going to get lucky. And he lost his siege tower here, and he's like pushing with no siege. Like what is this gonna do to the Themista? Absolutely nothing. Look how good his economy is. Look how many villages he has. I think he's vill limit at like 12 minutes in the game. Oh, he's got a couple more villages to come out, and then he'll be vill limit. And he loses nothing from this. And Berserker's just fighting nothing. So he needed to have pushed one of the outer town centers here, but he didn't know that. And so we're going to look over to Themista and how he kind of closes this game out. Because this game isn't won yet. In such a nice balanced economy. So if you ever want to watch how to boom with Greek, then watch this. I think the resto was a little bit of a waste. I guess all the Hippocon were super low, but I felt like he could have used that better. But that's not his victory condition right now. Like, you could say the resto was kind of wasted, but him winning the game right now is not from, you know, winning with a restoration push. That's like not his victory condition. You got to understand when you opt for a certain strat, you got to know what is going to make you win the game, and you've got to understand that and go with that. And so right now, Mr. knows that what's going to win him the game right now is Mythic Age and just a retardedly better economy. Because like basically when Zeus gets the Mythic Age with this kind of economy, the unit combinations he can pump out is just unstoppable, unless it just is. That's what Zeus is in Mythic. It's really tough to beat. And he also knows that, you know, Berserker's got back town centers. It's very hard for Berserker to physically push forward and beat him military wise. So he's up Mythic now, and you can see the economy ups there. He got the PS up, which is a good move, but he's just gonna spam all of these armory ups as soon as he gets to Mythic. You can see how quickly chariot archers die with no sort of meat shield and substance with them, and that's what the elephants and the scorpion men do so nicely. And so basically at this point in the game, he's going to want to be getting those Myrmidon out, because a really tough thing for Egyptian is when you invest so much into heroic on your heroic units, switching into your barracks units is really costly. Especially when your eco isn't so stable. Like Berserker's eco is not too bad. He actually managed to macro like okay from this. I feel like he could be like putting pressure on. He needs to, well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of lost from now. But switching to those barrack units is quite expensive because you need to upgrade them all, and upgrades for each one, you can't just do like medium infantry. You have to upgrade the spearmen or the axemen. It doesn't necessarily like it's not a bad thing. I'm just, when you've invested so much into Migdol units, switching into the Rax units is time consuming as well. Like to research all those ups to get them onto the level to beat these Hippocon or Myrmidon is going to take you a couple of minutes as well. So Myrmidon Hippocon combo is just going to eat through these chariots. And so also the key point about these back town centers is mercenaries are quite key in making up for the slight deficit in army strength. And if you can't use them aggressively, then it's quite hard for them to win. So basically at this point in the game, Berserker's only real win condition is kind of through a Wonder or a Titan or something like that. But even, you know, with Underworld up and the strength that Themista's got, it's probably too late. He can most definitely kill that, but that's about all Berserker can do. It's too hard for him to ever push something now. And that's what happens when you invest your whole economy into such an aggressive strat, and you haven't made the most of it, and like the Mister got nothing denied. And we can see all those eco ups coming down now. So he's ahead in eco ups, and you can see the score difference, which suggests the economy and just units killed. He's far ahead. Yeah, Berserker's economy is so weak. He can barely keep up with us. And that's what the Mister's doing, is it's just constant pressure. Like, the Mister has lost a ton of units, but he knows from the Vil discrepancy at the start that he can just put on, like, this pressure, and even if he loses 1-to-1 with units, or maybe even, like, if he loses 10 and Berserker loses 8, like, he'll be better off, just because of how much better the economy was. And the Mister's kind of, he's doing this till his economy stabilizes. Because if we went back a couple of minutes, you would have noticed the Mister was quite low in resources, and there's kind of like a lag effect on your economy, and he's kind of waiting for this when it starts to settle and he has excess resources, and then he can just start throwing villages in and building forward. And if the villagers die, that's good, because then army comes out to replace it, and your economy like goes to a better balance between villager and army population. You don't need to know the exact numbers, it's kind of more a feel for it. And yeah, that's the game over. So we just look at the post game really quick. Like the food discrepancy here, that's massive. Like the wood and the gold you can kind of ignore because that's like civ dependent, but this is the massive thing, that food discrepancy. So we check that's the amount of food we want, food total. You can see from that boom, that food total, how crazy ahead his economy is. And we check the military, like even though Mister was losing quite a few units, he is ahead in kills. It didn't really matter, and Berserker killed more buildings, but he didn't kill the right ones. So I hope that gave you guys some understanding as to like what happened in this game. Yeah, so you can, if you want to learn from the Mister here, you can see that like awesome macro for him to get such a crazy boom. See if you can reach Vil limit at the same time as him. And also how well he controls vision is really key. He denied, Berserker originally denied himself vision, but then he got these walls in to deny vision, and then used his army to create doubt with Berserker, and he never had an idea of where to push. And that was really well played by the Mister. And I mean, I covered all the key points for Berserker early in the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and maybe catch you at another one. Cheers.